The first speaker I would like to call upon is actually the driving force and the catalyst for the independent movement within the Fawzil area. He started his campaign back in 2021, where he got approximately 1,600 votes as an independent. He then came to touching distance of victory, where he's got a staggering 1,750 votes. He brought the Labour majority lead from 82% down to 2%. This is unheard of and was the first time ever within the Fawzil ward. His sheer determination and hard work to serve our community sincerely, not for personal gains, not for fame, not for name. This has been displayed through his hard work at this very Muslim Resource Centre for the past 2 years. Without further ado, I would like to call upon the Zia Khan.
Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon. Welcome you all today here and a lovely turnout. I'm very happy that we have a lot of new independents standing within Fawzil ward, even though I couldn't make it last year and this year. As well as the independent ward in Fawzil, we have another independent, Akhmed Yaqoob, who's standing for the mayor seat here in Coventry. I just want to start with what made me come into politics. I was never a politician, never voted in my life, to be honest, before I voted for myself in 2021. I saw the conditions that was happening in my area. It was deteriorating. It's an area that I grew up for, in all my life, and I felt that our councillors that we put forward as our representatives were not for working for our needs, rather for their own name and fame. I went and seen all three councillors at the time and expressed our concerns as a community and how we should tackle them. We got no response, and I spoke to them and said, if this is the case, then we will come forward as independents, which, to be honest, they just laughed at. And I said, well, we are determined now to work for our community as individuals, as independents. So the previous councillors, even from the 21-22 campaign onwards to this year's campaign, even if you're looking at the current councillors' leaflet, they keep on complaining about the cuts, the austerity measures that the government has put in place and the budgets that they're working with. However, if you look at what Labour's pledged themselves, one of their shadow chancellor, Rachel Reeves, just in 2021 promised that they will do a wealth tax, which I believe is also for a fairer society. But what they've done now, they've backtracked on that. Also, they said they will do banker bonuses. Again, they've backtracked on that as well. So again, if you look at all their pledges and the manifestos they have, they're very similar to Conservatives. And there's no, if you speak to them and say, what are they actually pledging and how are they going to raise that extra money for the communities? And they say, well, we'll move the corporate sector, get more business to invest in Britain. Same thing that we hear from the Tories, year in, year out. And every election campaign, we're hearing the same stories, but who's paying for it? Even the credit crunch in 2007, 2008, who's in control of it? It was the Labour government, sorry. Now what happened? Who paid for it? Not the bankers, not those with the more money in their pockets, the ordinary people like ourselves. Especially the cost of living, etc., going up, council taxes going up, it's affecting the ordinary people and not the very few that both parties are serving. So like George Galloway said, well, I won't repeat what he said, but I believe the two faces of the same coin. So there's no difference to the ordinary people. And especially Labour, if you look at it up and down the country, they've banked on the Muslim vote for all these years. And I think now, with the rise of social media, people are a bit more aware, and they're not so brainwashed as they were with the biased media outlets as in the past. If you look at the election in Rochdale, I think that shifted the status quo a bit. You kind of rocked the system. And if you think about, a lot of our opposition in the area say, what's one independent going to do? What's one MP going to do? If you look at George Galloway winning that seat, it forced Rishi Sunak to come onto Downing Street and do a speech And what is that based on? Just one person. Could you imagine we have 20, 30 MPs like this, or more councillors that stand independent voices, rather than their voices being brought out? If you look at just this month, there's many councillors up and down the country that have actually resigned from Labour and Conservatives. Just this month, we have 20 councillors in Lancashire resign based amid fears of bullying by the Labour Party. Just in Pendle, we've had 10 councillors resign, as well as the Labour leader in the actual council. I mean, again, these councillors are saying that Labour HQ is suppressing free speech. So where is this, the myth of democracy? It sounds more like communism to me. But the thing is this, our voices are being suppressed as Muslims. And again, like I said, Brother Ahmed has stepped forward for the council seat, the mayor's seat, and for Han as well. And I believe personally that there should be more independence. And also we can work with the likes of Mr. Nellis, with Tusk, and parties like that we kind of have a common understanding, common ground with. Even in this very first award, the candidate Shakila was offered and asked to step down from Labour and stand as an independent. But she chose to prioritise her career and her a person from her campaign actually said that she wants to become an MP. So they're more concerned about their careers rather than what's needed for our community here locally and our voice internationally. So moving on to the war in Gaza, it's one of the greatest injustices of our time. And especially as Muslims, as well as having a moral obligation, we also have a religious obligation. These are our brothers and sisters that are being slaughtered and massacred in front of us on a daily basis. Surely we'll all be questioned on that day. And we should have an answer. It's shameless to see mosques, shall we say, inviting these shameless Labour councillors within our areas. When I speak to these individuals that are inviting this, to us in commentary, there's only one mosque. If there's all the mosques, never mind just commentary, all up and down the country, no mosque should be inviting any candidate from Labour or Conservative to their masjid. It goes against our moral obligation. So if you look at one mosque we had in commentary, one of the brothers said on the group, well, we don't know what's in his heart. Hazrat Umar radiallahu anhu said that we cannot judge what's in someone's heart, but we can judge what's apparent from their actions. Actions speak louder than words. If you're inviting these Labour councillors to your masjids and mosques, what does that show? And these are leaders, so-called Muslim leaders in our community. So we need to wake up to this and not just follow the status quo, even when it comes to our masjids. We should call out a spade for what it is, yes? And not just follow. And we're not sheep. As Muslims, we were told to be shepherds. And inshallah, with Farhan Stani and Akhmed Yaqoob, I believe our community is waking up and will vote for both of these candidates, inshallah. And as well as Mr. Nellis, he's standing in the St. Michael's ward, they also have 16 other candidates in the other wards. Apart from the Holbrooks ward, which we are actually supporting the Greens in that ward, all the other wards, I suggest that you vote Tusk and not Labour or Conservative. Just one of the things I just want to highlight, I don't know if you know a Kirklees councillor by the name of Ammar Anwar. He had quite an emotional resignation, quite a big Pakistan moustache as well, to be honest. But the point I want to get to is that he said he's seen a video, well, his daughter's seen a video about Gaza, and his daughter said to her father that, Dad, what have you done about this, the events that are going on in Gaza? What have you done about this video? And the father, after watching that video, he did an emotional resignation in council and resigned. But what I say is, why does it have to take a 5-year-old daughter for his daughter to kick in his moral compass? As Muslims, we should have that all the time. And again, like I said, we, as all councillors, especially in commentary, we've not had one councillor make a statement on Gaza itself. I mean, we have Shakila who's so-called said, oh yeah, I've signed a paper. I mean, what does that mean? Signing a paper, nothing, that's it. It's done. But the thing is this, none of the Muslim councillors actually stood forward and raised a voice for the people of Gaza. Personally, I think all Muslim councillors should resign from both of these parties and stand independent. I mean, that is showing the true support for the people of Gaza. And again, like I said, we have a common understanding and a common ground with the Tusk, and we should vote smaller parties like this and hopefully work with them in the future. But for us Muslims, and like I said, Labour has taken the Muslim vote for granted for many years, and we've got to move away from that. And especially, I know a lot of the senior people in our community said this was the party that worked for the ethnic minority, or this is the party that cared for the Muslim. That's not the case anymore. They both work for one paymaster, and it's clear now, because both of them were showing blind support for the massacre of our brothers and sisters in Gaza. So as Muslims, like I said, we have a religious obligation as well as a moral one. So let's work towards that and support our brother Farhan in Fawzul and Ahmed Yaqoob in the mayor elections. And let's also help work with Tusk as well, and whichever area they're working in, let's help them get their seats. And let's send out a message that as Muslims, those votes are not granted for you anymore. The people have woken up, inshallah.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum.